Good afternoon, it's Vanessa Baker here, popping on live for some more crafting. And today is the last day in my series using the Heirloom Arrangements Kit. I've just about used all the pieces, so today is the final project in that series that I've done through the month of March. So let's flip the camera around and get started. Okay. Now just get positioned here. It's a bit more tricky because I've got the whole page to fit on the screen and I've just got it all laid out there. I had to make sure I could use all the pieces. So I'll just separate those out because I'm going to do a little bit of stamping first on the background. And just before we get underway, I'm going to check that I'm live and I have sound. Very important. A little bit. Okay, all good. Right, so welcome along if you're joining me live. If you can't join me live, then I hope you can catch the replay at a time that suits you. And these videos also get posted to my YouTube channel. So with Facebook deleting videos now after 30 days, then you can always go to YouTube to catch up on what you've missed. Okay, so the plan is to do a little bit of distressing, I guess, or making the background a little bit more vintage-like. And I've got the two stamps that come in the set that I've been using, the butterfly stamp and the grid stamp, to help with this. And I'm just going to start by inking up my blending brush with Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake is a great ink for that sort of vintagey look. I find it a really useful. I'm just looking for some scrap paper now. Oh, I can use I'll use my glass mat just to get rid of that first blob of ink. And then I'm going to put some ink. So I'm not going to do the center because that's mostly going to be covered. So we don't want to sort of waste our ink and put it where it won't be seen. So I'm just going to start with a light blush of colour, sort of around the edge, I guess in a circle. Like I say, you won't see probably all of it. Some of it might get covered. But we'll just start. Because you can't obviously do this once you've started putting your elements down. So it is a step a little bit in the sort of going in blind before you start placing things. And I think I'm going to mix a little bit of the pretty and pink with this as well. So you'll see I'm trying to get ink. This is quite a light colour, which is good for what we're doing. We don't want to add that sort of vintage look is sort of soft and, well, I prefer soft vintage. Vintage can be a bit more, darker, but I like the softer look myself. Okay, so that's the Crumb Cake. Now I'm just going to come in with a little bit of the pretty and pink. Now this could be a bit more intense, so I'll just get rid of a whole lot of the brush there. I just want a really soft blush of this coming through with the Crumb Cake. So you'll see how I kept inking that Crumb Cake up the whole time, but this time I've gone right round with the pink. So I really want it just soft. And I've only inked that once. So there we go, there's our nice soft blush. Now I'll keep those ink pads open because I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. But I think what I might do next is get my main item down on the page. So this is a whole card base from the kit, and I'm going to put it across the page, sort of like that, and that's going to be the base of where I build all the other items around. So now that we've got that, we can sort of see where we could add some background stamping. And again, I'm going to use the crumb cake and Pretty in Pink. And I'm just, now I do need a little piece of paper that I can stamp off onto. Okay. Because I definitely want to stamp off and make these stamps nice and light. So we use the grid first. So I'll stamp off onto my scrap paper, and then I'm going to put a little bit of grid, I think over here. And you can just do this in any old fashion. I might go that way. Just so it's sort of peeking out from our mat area. And it just helps to add a little bit of depth to the whole thing. And it's such a good stamp, this grid, because it's not overpowering. It's just really is in the background. And I might just leave it at that for now and come back. Just thinking, perhaps I will put a bit more down over here. And as usual, you want things in odd numbers. So I've got 4 at the moment. So I think I might go up here with 1 as well. So that gives us 5. Okay. And for the butterfly, I think I'm going to leave that until a little bit later on. I've got a printout of a photo that I plan to use. And this is from our recent Stampin' Up event. And on the first night there was a welcome party, and this was it was a white party theme. So you'll see there that some are dressed all in white, and then we have others with splashes of white. we thought that there was going to be one of those UV lights and we'd all be glowing, but it wasn't. Wasn't to be. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and a very easy theme to do a white party. So I've just at this stage printed that on copy paper just to get my size correct. And yeah, I spent this morning sort of looking for a photo, and that was the best I came up with to sort of suit my layout and the pieces. So that's going to go on in that direction. And then I've just got the remainder sort of elements from the kit. This is all I've got left. If I put them all out, 2 tags, butterfly, and these little pieces here. So those are all I have left from this amazing kit that's kept us going all month. So the plan is to sort of do something actually I think that might have been more on an angle now I think about it, because this is over here with these things. Yes, that's what it was, and those tucked in there. So now I'm just sort of laying out the pieces where they're going to go and making sure I've got that background stamping just where I wanted it. So this one is going to go in here. So I need to twist my mat to that direction, and then this is now in the wrong place, so I go under there and then over. So that was the frame that I ended up with, or the inside of the frame from last week. So I've managed to incorporate that into the page. Okay, so that's my sort of layout. I might have to bring those on a slightly different, they're looking too in a line. So I'm really just using my ichrometer to find what I deem to be a nice layout with these pieces. So that's kind of where I'm heading. So I'm going to grab my butterfly. Just going to stop that door creaking. Hopefully that's better. Brendan's in a meeting, so not got our timings right today. Just move that slightly so I don't see the top of that. Okay, so that's my page, and then I'm going to do the butterfly. I'm done with that scrap paper. Oh, there it is. And again, I want it stamped off. I want a light version of this in the background. I feel like I need one. Now, that's going to be on that angle. Do it. So I don't want to mirror the same angles that I'm using for other elements. It was a wee bit pale, wasn't it? I think I must have lost most of my ink. Oh, so this Pretty in Pink ink pad is quite juicy. And what's happening is, I think I've done this before on here with this particular ink. The ink is sort of quite intense and quite juicy. So I'm just spreading some away from one end of the pad, so that when I stamp, I'll just have to wipe that off with a tissue. I always just keep a plastic spoon handy. So now I'm going to use that same end of the pad when I ink up my stamp, and I should get a lot less ink. I don't know if I can go over that, so I might just leave it. Sometimes it's better just to leave something as it is, but next time I try it, yeah, I've got a much better stamp of that little butterfly. So yeah, it was just a bit too inky. And because we need things in threes, I'm going to do a third one. And I think that one might be over here. And again, I don't want the same angles, so I'm going to twist it that way. Okay, nice. Now, I'm just feeling that I've gone a bit pink and I've lost a bit of that crumb cake feel to the edge here. So I'm going to come back in. Now I can see where my actual elements are. I might just push it up slightly because I don't want to get ink. Well, I could get ink on here. And especially adding that pink butterfly, it's really sort of brought out the pink in the background. Okay, then if we come back down, and I'm going to do the same at the top. Even though I did that really lightly, it is quite a vibrant pink. So it's just a matter of playing before you start sticking things down, playing with the background and laying it up so you get the look and feel that you're wanting. Okay, happy with that. So they go in there with that on top. These go down the side here. I'm just laying it roughly where everything goes. Okay, so I feel that that's busy enough. I don't want to add too many more butterflies and background pieces, but you'll just see how it brings it together more than when it was just the white background. Okay. So now we just have to stick everything down and figure out if we want any different levels. With scrapbooking, it's less about the dimension, because you're going to be sliding it into a sleeve, so you don't want things sticking up too high. But I think having lots of layers, and that kind of makes up for it. And this kit is particularly good for that. Okay, so I want this piece around about there, and these are going to stick underneath it. So I'll start with that format, sort of like that. So I'm going to start by sticking these in. And I might do them at different heights. I really want to see as much as possible of this one with the butterflies. I love that. And I could overlap the tags a bit, but I also like that the shape of the tags. So I think I'll leave them like that. Then this one is the more tricky piece, so I might do the other side next. Got my one vellum piece left over, and now I also need, as I'm laying these on, I might just put a little bit of glue on there. This isn't the final picture, of course, because I'm going to have it printed, but I'll just smear some glue so that it will stay stuck to. So this is obviously that's a card base. This is a card base as well that I had left over. And my photo, I'm still playing with the sizing to try and get all the people in. It's a bit tricky, but I'll figure that out and I'll get the actual photo printed. Okay, so I want that sort of in the middle. And then this overlapping. Actually, that could overlap too. That might be quite nice. Although that was a bit lower. That, and then I'm covering up some of the leaves. And I have to decide where I'm going to put this flower. Maybe down there. It's quite nice. So this vellum one can get stuck on, actually that's going on top, so I will have to work on this other side because it's going underneath. I'm going to have this pink one coming out from the side. These are going to go on last. This one is going to go also under there, sort of about there, and I didn't want it the same height as my photo mat. So I like that, and I like that poking out there. So let's grab these pieces and stick them in. Oop. Sliding that under. I can see that little flagged end sticking out. Oops. Okay, so we want that around about there. Okay, so now I can stick this blue piece on because I've done all the things that I'm going to tuck underneath. And I have tried to get rid of that line a little bit with my bone folder, but it is a fairly solidly scored line. But we are going to cover it with our, oh, that's made a bit better difference. But I like the idea of using this whole card as the base, you know, as an element on the scrapbook page. Okay, now I've just got to get it how it was before, roughly, without smearing glue everywhere. It looks good. I did just get a little smear there. Just wipe that away. Okay. Right, so we'll put this back on. And I'm working on the vellum piece. I want this sort of down here. I don't want to cover up too much of my friend. Perhaps I'll have a bit more of that showing. This vellum piece. Now what I might do, because that's up on a layer there, to get a little bit of height, but without going for a full dimensional, glue dots. It gives you, I don't know, 1 millimetre or 0.5 millimetre of height that you wouldn't have if you used the liquid glue. I'm just going to put 2 of those at the top there. It also means I can reposition it if I do find I'm not happy with where I put it. I wanted it about there. I'll just lightly tack it into place, and then excuse me, I'm going to put this one on with, I'm going to just tack this one in place like I did with the photo. So this glue is a little bit semi-permanent. If you do this with it and spread it out like that, and then I'll just let it dry for a minute or 2, it will be tacky, and it won't actually dry completely when you stick it to the layer, and so I can reposition it later. So I probably should have left this a little bit, but it is going to come off. So yeah, just by putting a little thin layer like that with the applicator on the other end, you can make a sort of a semi-permanent or removable piece, really. So if that was going to go, actually maybe I'll overlap that, because I don't want it dead in the centre. Should I come over here a bit? Yeah, I've slightly messed up with that little corner. It's bugging me, but that's all right. Let's just do that. So that's about right. And then this piece, I'm going to stick it so that this corner isn't attached to the photo. So I'm going to use the glue dots again, give myself a little bit of height. So I just take my item to the glue dots, and then they come off quite easily. Just put one about there, not too far up. So I've just got 3 on the back of that, and I'm going to cover some of that leaf. I want the edge straight with the edge of the page, like that. Okay. Oops, and then you just pull off the extra bit off the glue dots that you don't need. Okay. Just got some flowers to do on this side. I find it amazing that we made all those lovely projects and I still had these really gorgeous flowers left over. I was quite worried that I wasn't going to have very much for the scrapbook page, but it worked out really well. So I'm just going to put these at different heights, like that, I think. Just grab one at a time, and I'm just going to use the liquid glue. A few dots of that. So roughly there. This piece. Just dotting the glue on. So that just a little bit lower, and I'm angling it in because I want these 2 stems to be in the same place. I'm going to put a little bow of linen thread there. So for this one, I might just use a glue dot on the top of that flower and a little bit of liquid, just a dot or 2 down the stem. Lovely. Excuse me. So I'll get a piece of linen thread, and I'm sort of straightening it out because I find that when it's on this roll, it's quite kinky when you take it off, and you can find that your bow doesn't sit, one side will sort of kink around. So if you straighten it out a bit first, then it tends to behave itself a bit better. And I don't want this too large, I just want it to be like it's tied around those little stems down there. So again, I'm going to use a glue dot. And with the glue dots, I just zoom in. So I put my bow onto there, and then this tail was trying to head up in that direction. So I can use the glue dot to keep it where I want it, pointing downwards. I'm just pushing the top end of that nearer the knot. Oops, getting stuck to the other ones. Push that end into the glue dot at the bottom here, so it makes it stay in the direction that I want it to go. Cute. Okay, now I don't want to trim that too much, but maybe just a little. And then I almost want to curl it again. I'm losing that curl now, which would be quite nice on the page, just to have that little, so you can go back in with your bone folder. Or your scissors or something, just to create a bit of movement with those tails. Okay, now that's all stuck down, and I've got my last piece to go on, which is this die cut, pre-printed and die cut butterfly. So I'm going to put that on. So what I might do here is actually put the dimensionals on the wings and put glue on the body, and that will keep the wings up a little bit. In fact, I could even try putting one on top of the other. So I've got one glue dot there. If I put another glue dot right on top of it, I'm going to get just that added bit of height. Yep, that worked well. So again, it's not the same height as a dimensional is, but it's just more than if you've got just liquid glue. Okay, so that's my wings, and then I want a little bit of liquid in the center. And I'm going to sort of bend it so it gets the idea. And I want that sort of in between those two tags. It just looks like it's got a little bit lifted off the page. That's what I wanted. Lovely. And now I hadn't actually got any. Oh, I did leave out the butterflies. I wondered if these little brass butterflies might be nice as embellishments. And I've also got the flat, what are they called? Low profile dots, which is our pink and gold. But I think in this case, pink would be nice. Now I've just got to find my little tool. There it is. And think about where to put them. I don't have any words on this page. The only sentiment I thought could be good out of the pack was thankful and grateful, because this was an event, with friends who I've met through Stampin' Up. I appreciate your kindness didn't quite work. It was like I appreciate your friendship would work for this particular one. I feel lucky to have you. It's more like I feel lucky to know you. So none of them were quite what I was looking for. wonder if I've got, just quickly, if I could find something. Don't want anything too large. Oh, what about that set that has the tabs? Here we are. What's this got in it? Happy holidays, congratulations. No, not quite right. Sorry, I should have prepared something, but it's just occurred to me that I could use a different stamp set. What have I got? There's from the Terrific Toadstools, You Are Magical. I think that might work. And I don't think I've actually used that stamp yet when I did the toadstool classes. So I'm going to put that on. Piece of white. What have I got left? I do have a few little bits left behind. Here we go. Oh, they're all printed. So I've got a little bit of pink from a card base, and I've got an envelope. Seems a shame to cut up an envelope, so I think I'll just use white. Oh, I could stamp it straight on. Okay, I'm going to stamp it in. I think it needs a darker colour, maybe one of these colours from the butterfly. So let's go for pecan pie. And I could probably use a thinner little strip than that one I grabbed. Don't want to make life too difficult for ourselves. I'm just going to stamp that now in pecan pie. Give myself a little bit of room to angle the edges. I quite like just angling both edges in the same direction as a way of finishing. And then I'm going to cut it. It's a little, oh, is it a little bit? Oh, it's fairly straight. I'm just going to trim a little bit of height off it. Oh yes, I like that, and it ties everything in very well. So I think I'll do glue dots because I want that little bit of a shadow underneath it. And oh yeah, something like that. So it's a little under the bow. It's quite nice. Okay, so now we have more of a focal area. It's a bit easier to place the gems. Sometimes I have to play around with the placement of gems there. I might do 5. So I do it in a triangle shape. So I'm going to come up here or over here with one. Maybe over there. So I've got one triangle, and then off one of the, so that one I can do another triangle in another place. The two close together. So I might do that over here. yeah, cute. And then if I did want to, I could probably use maybe just one of these brass butterflies. And I'm thinking over here on this, oh, I forgot that flower. Oh, it fell off. There we go. That's right, I was going to put that little flower there, so let's put that on. Don't want to leave any pieces unused. So that can go on there. And then our butterfly could go on the flower. Or above the flower. Above the flower. And that, because that's just one on its own, I don't think it needs, anything extra. Okay, so that is the final project. And like I said, I've got just these bits left over. These were cut off cards from other projects and one envelope. So pretty amazing, and I've absolutely loved working with this kit. And it's available now to purchase in my shop, and I'll put a link in the video for you so you can go straight there. And yeah, I'd really love to see what you make with it, because I just found it's quite fantastic. You can follow the instructions or not, and you can make different things like I've done here. And yeah, I just love all the elements in this kit, and hope you do too. So I'll see you again next week.